What's up, YouTube? It's Sean the Barbarian here, and we got a deck to dive into. We're going to be playing the Blue Red aggro deck in Standard Ladder today. Standard just reset, so we're excited. We're starting off in Silver, and we're going to hopefully get a little bit of a rank climb going on today, but we're excited to play this deck. Before we get into the deck tech, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, and even leave a comment on what your favorite brews for Standard is. Every sub and every like helps this channel out greatly. We are on the road to 100 subs, so I would greatly appreciate it if you could be a part of that cause. I also stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. And we play Magic, primarily Draft. We also play Standard. We do some variety gaming on Saturdays. If you want to be a part of that, the link will be in the description below, and I'd love to say hello to you in the chat. Alrighty, YouTube. Let's dive into this blue-red deck. Now, I really like this deck because it has that Spellslinger mentality. And just taking a look at it, our curve's not very high, but we have a lot of cheap, replaceable spells. And let's look into that one-drop slot. So we're starting off with 4 Ops, then moving on to 3 Stern Dismissals, 4 Crash Throughs, 4 Shocks, 2 Spikefield Hazards. So as you can see, we're loaded with one-drop spells. More than half of them, 4, 8, almost more than half of them, will replace himself by either drawing cards like Crash Through and Opt, or they will give us some tempo like Stern Dismissal, Shock, and Spikefield Hazard. Moving on to the 2-drop slot, we have 1 Seagate Stormcaller. What I love about this card is Seagate Stormcaller enters the battlefield and copies the next spell that's converted mana cost 2 or less. And as you can see, we got plenty of 1 mana stuff, so we can play this as soon as turn 3 and get a double shock action going, double Crash Through to draw 2 cards, a double Opt to draw 2 cards. So a lot of value on that. I only put that as a 1 of, could possibly go as a 2 of if you are really feeling like you want to sling some more spells. Magnetic Channelers are another creature that I love in here. It's a card that I absolutely loved when I saw it in the spoiler season. It's a 1/3 that as long as there's 4 more instances in your graveyard, it gets a +3/+1, so it becomes a 4/4. In this deck, you're more than likely going to be having a 4/4 swinging in for 2 mana. That's an excellent value. But on top of that, it does have tap, discard a card from your hand, and then exile top 2 cards of the library. You can choose one, and you can play it that turn. This allows us to keep on going. If we top deck a land, we can discard it and get some more gas going by looking at the next 2 cards. So really great at digging, but also turns into a 4/4, which is a sizable clock on its own. Royal Eruption is basically a Sorcerer's Speed Lightning Strike in this deck, rarely kicking it, but it's always good to have, even if you flood out, cool, you can deal 5 damage, but 3 damage is very relevant at keeping some of the threats that your opponent will play off the board. However, the one that does this very well, also go back to Royal Eruption real quick, it does go to any target, so you can hit a Planeswalker, you can go to the face with it, very versatile. Sorcerer's Speed is its only downfall. Now, Thunder's Rebuke, this is your premium removal spell. Sorcerer's Speed, 2 mana, 1 and a red, deals 4 damage to target creature or Planeswalker. So another one that hits Planeswalkers, but the 4 damage to target creature hits things like Omnath. 4 toughness is a very key number in the Standard, at least what I've seen so far. So very, very efficient removal spell. Sprite Dragon, another awesome creature, one of the bread and butter of this deck. 2 mana, 1/1 flying haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, pardon me, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So we can play this on 2, swinging for 1, and then on 3, we're generally swinging for 2 or 3 on turn 3. But if your opponent doesn't remove this threat, then it will just close out the game really fast. So you don't have to overextend your board, which is a very key thing when looking at this deck, and we'll go over that in a second. We got Brazen Borrowers, 3 of them. This is your 3 mana 3/1 that can, with flash flying, only block creatures with flying. However, you're playing it mainly for the Petty Theft Adventure side, 2 mana bounce non-land permanent opponent controls back to their hand. This does help trigger Sprite Dragon or Storming Entity if we need to make it a tempo play. I've noticed that this does set your opponent back enough to allow you to slide in enough damage to close out the game. Now, here's our big boy. Stormwing Entity. 5 mana, 3/3 flying prowess. The key with this card is that it's cheaper to cast when you've cast an instant resources spell this turn. It reduces it by 2 generic and a blue. So it becomes a 2-mana 3/3 flying prowess creature that when it enters the battlefield, it scries 2, which is great. Sets up your next draws, but the amount of cheap spells that we have in our deck, we're going to be casting this for 2 every time that we see it, which is phenomenal. And it has prowess, so that means that when we are removing things on our turn, we're also swinging in for more damage. Only 22 land. We are just playing with basics and the new pathway lands. I really enjoy these pathway lands. They're really, really versatile cards. Deck doesn't need much more than 22 because when you hit that 4 mana, you're in your sweet spot. You're in your zone. You can cast almost everything you want on your turn and keep on going. Now, the cool thing about this deck, like I said, is that you don't overextend against your opponents. Most of your threats become bigger threats when you play them, and they have to answer them one for one. You're kind of immune to board wipes in a sense to that, because if you play a Sprite Dragon, you don't need to overcommit to the board, because if you just kept playing your game, casting spells, it gets bigger and closes out the game real fast. Magnetic Channeler is another one that, by playing your game plan of playing spells, it gets to be big enough to be a 4/4, and we have enough removal to make sure that 4/4 connects, so they have to answer it. Same with Storming Entity, prowess, make sure that when we're playing our spells like we want to do, it becomes a big threat. So that's one key strategy that this deck has, is that you don't overextend. So your opponent has to spend their resources less efficiently to remove our threats. Now, if you are playing best 2 out of 3, which I will be playing in this video as best 2 out of 3, we do have to build a sideboard. This is a great deck for best of ones. It does play very similar to Mono Red, where you close out games real fast. It just has a little bit more tricks up its sleeve. So I feel like it does a little bit better and a little more interesting to play than Mono Red in that avenue. But same game plan, go for the throat, close it out as fast as you can. Now, for the sideboard, we have 2 red cap melees. Great, 1 mana, deal 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If it's non-red, permanent is dealt damage away, sacrifice land. All right, this is in here to kill Omnath, because Omnath is a red permanent. When you're playing against mono red, it's a great instant speed trick to make sure that you kill the Embercleave target, or other cards that we don't want to see in mono red does kill. Moving on, we have Emberth Shieldbreaker. Now, this one's in here mainly for the sorcery speed adventure side. Battle display, destroy target artifact. Adventures is a deck that you have to respect in this format. Killing Lucky Clovers does help set your opponent off, because it turns off their own Brazen Borrowers, their Beanstalker Giants, stuff like that, enough to hopefully close out the game before they can pull too far ahead by their spells becoming too efficient. So I also do I'm a huge fan of transformative sideboards. That's where Brazen Borrower, the 4th copy, is in our side, so that way we can shift into this blue-red mid-range tempo deck instead of an aggro tempo deck. So we put a 4th one in there, so that way we can bounce stuff. 3 Mystical Disputes. Mystical Dispute is a phenomenal counterspell. Again, if we're playing against Omnath or the Rogue deck, this is usually only 1 mana. This one could be replaced with Lofty Denial. I've been playing around with that idea, because we do have a lot of flyer density, enough to make that worth it, which gives us a little more coverage on stuff. So we'll play around with it and see how Mystical Dispute does, but that would be my suggestion, is either this or Lofty Denial. Now we got 4 Bone Crushers Giants in the side. It's an extra removal spell, and also is a great mid-range threat. When we move away from the aggro package, Bone Crusher Giant does do well, because it allows us to side in 4 more removal spells in the stomp side, which deals 2 damage, and damage can be prevented that turn. And then it allows us to also get the 4/3 body that shocks our opponent, deals 2 damage to them if they target with a spell. Really great creature, one of my favorite red creatures that's in standard right now. I recommend it almost every red deck. We put Royal Scions in here. Phenomenal Planeswalker for 3 mana, so it fits our low mana curve. But it also allows us to dig. When we get into these a little bit longer matches, games 2 and 3, having the ability to draw a card, then discard a card, can be pivotal when we run out of gas. The other +1 is still very relevant. Target creatures at +2/+0 and gains first strike trample. Allows us to close out games faster with our threats, such as Sprite Dragon and Storming Entity, even Brazen Borrower, to be honest, which are flying, they're evasive. So we're getting in a minimum of 5 damage on Storming Giant or Brazen Borrower, or a minimum of 3 when a Royal Science is out. It allows us to keep that pressure on. Points of damage do matter. I've lost plenty of games where a shot could have sealed the deal. Royal Signs make sure that we have those points in our favor. 2 Storm Wraths to close out the sideboard, because we need an ability to sweep the board. So that's how we're going to round out the sideboard. So we're going to go into some best of 3 matches now to test out this version of the Blue Red aggro deck, and we're going to see how we do. And you know what? We'll have a roundup at the end of this video, give my thoughts and what I would change going forward. So let's dive in. Alrighty, it's time to play some games. Season did just reset, so I think we're ranked back down to silver. Let's see how we can do. As far as first hands go, really great. So I got 2 of the modal, the pathway lands. Op, Sprite Dragon, Storming Entity, Shock. Yeah, this is a perfect opener. And we're on the draw, so I think it's just really great. I'm gonna go ahead and lead off with a mountain. Shocking their turn 2 play could prove very pivotal, depending. Yeah, okay. So we're playing against counters. Conclave Mentor, making sure that they get an additional +1/+1 counter. And that's why I like leading off with the mountain, so that way we can shock. Get it out of here. You're gonna gain 2 life, but we don't care about that. Play this, and we're gonna play Sprite Dragon on 2. And swing in for 1. Alright, we are in the driver's seat. We have taken the initiative back. So now they have to spend their turn probably playing another Conclave Mentor. If they did have 2. And a Storm Shambler. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and kill the Conclave Mentor again. We'll go ahead and Thunder Rebuke it. They're gonna gain another 2. But getting rid of that card is pivotal to our strategy. The cool thing about this deck is we missed a land drop this turn. Not the biggest deal in the world. We have both we have 2 ops and a crash through that we can go ahead and refill our hand with. But we also are operating, we don't want to operate with a whole lot of mana anyways. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and play Crash Through first. And then we're gonna play Opt. Now I actually do want to land. I really do want to land. We'll take that. Kind of going real hard here. But I guess the race is on. They do have a sizable chunk of damage here. There's a 6 minimum. But I was hoping... I'm trying to hunt for my second island. So that way I could have played Storming Entity. We're still really set up for opt into Storming Entity. I'm not too upset. Also, Storm Wrath is going to come in from the sideboard for this matchup. 100%. Counter's deck is quite brutal. There's that second island that I was looking for. Opt. Don't need another land. We have 4 now. Because they're going to give it to us anyways. We'll go ahead and Storm Entity here, though. I don't think I want either of those. I actually need a removal spell real bad. Will they kill me here? I don't think they do. 6, put them to 10. I could threaten lethal next turn. Opt gives me 7. Yeah, opt gives me lethal this turn. This is 4, 5. Yeah, I can block the... So if they only swing in with this, we take it. Yeah. Alright, cool. We got this. Got game 1. These flying threats, actually, we have to worry about this card. I didn't think about that. Okay. Play. Is there a way for me to do this? Now I wanted my crash through. Okay, let's go ahead and play Sprite Dragon. Let's opt. Brazen Borrower does do it. Yeah, Brazen Borrower does it. Okay, cool. Island, Brazen Borrower. Get rid of the Stonecoil Serpent. Get that reach on out of here. There we go. Game 1 in the bag. That was a good one. All right, so see, we're starting to see like how sprite dragons really do start adding up. That was just the one sprite dragon that really did the work here. Okay, so we are playing against counters. Counter spells like Mystical Dispute, not going to be that big of a deal. They're not going to be coming in. However, Brazen Borrower, the 4th one, will come in. Do you think that we do bring in Storm's Wrath here? They could easily get above 4 damage, but it's more about... Oh, actually, they also do have Stone Cold Serpent, so those will come in. It's a great removal spell. And Bone Crusher Giant, I think, is probably a better blocker. So, we had a lot of cards coming in. Spikefield Hazard does literally nothing. Or next to nothing. Shocks are fine. I don't think Crash Through is the card we want. Seagate Stormcaller is also not a good card in this matchup. Probably cut a couple shocks because I put in Bone Crusher Giant. But they are going to be on the play again. So we won that on the draw, which is phenomenal. Getting up a game in best 2 out of 3 is always good. Cut an opt. Cut 2 ops actually, because we did bring in some more spells. These are technically spells for Sprite Dragon and Storming Entity. So I think that's what we're gonna do. 2 ops. Good. Keep this. Yeah. So we brought in a lot of threats, some good removal. Game 2, and we are on the draw again. So we're looking for that very interactive hand. Okay. I do have the removal on 2 with this. I do have, like, normally this hand would be really cool, like, be really sweet. But I go, they go, they're gonna get... Yeah, we have to mulligan this. Okay, this is a better hand. We'll go ahead and get rid of Storming Entity here. I do have the Storm's Wrath, which is a great reset. But I do have to be careful. If they spend their next turn playing... I guess I didn't... I guess I was just in my own head, because if they play Conclave Mentor, I play 2, get rid of Bone Crusher Giant, and then we're fine. I think we're actually just gonna... Yeah, I guess we'll hit it with the Bone Crusher. I'll say the Royal Eruption. The one more point of damage could be relevant coming up. Also gives us a solid turn 3 play. I do like, that's what I love about Bone Crusher. It does lead into a solid next play. Now, the one issue that we could have is that they put +1/+1 counters on all this stuff. Kind of figured they would spend their mana doing that. Desperately need another mountain, and then we are just set. One more mountain and we're set. Okay, so I do have an opportunity to play Storm Entity this turn. What does this do? When enters the battlefield. Okay. So we can go ahead and play this, weaken it a little bit. And it does give them a token, I believe. Yeah, it gives them 2 tokens. That's fine. But we wanted to weaken it. What we're trying to do here is that. Exactly that. Is that how I want to do it? I think that's exactly how I want to do it. Okay. No attacks. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get rid of this board state here. Hopefully they commit more to the board, or they spend their turn blowing something up. The one issue that I'm going to have is that they can bring it back. The escape cost on that is actually pretty reasonable. Okay, let's go ahead and see if they let us hit in for any points of damage. So when you are setting up for a Wrath effect turn, swinging with your creatures is a great way to see if they're just going to let you get some free damage in. Okay, so they aren't going to let me get free damage in. So that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and reset the board. Then we got a Sprite Dragon coming off the top. We have Royal Eruption. We can swing in for a minimum of 2, remove a threat. We also can go to the face. I also have Magnetic Chandler. I could also play instead of the Sprite Dragon. But Sprite Dragon's a great card. I'm trying to remember the escape cost on this. Oh, okay. That's 6 damage. I guess we'll just go ahead and set up. We'll have a setup turn. Not swing in. I didn't think that they were going to have a Stonecoil Serpent, but if I draw a land, we'll go ahead and activate Magnetic Chandler. Hopefully we can draw into our Embrith Shieldbreaker. That would be a phenomenal card to get into. Storm's Wrath also not a bailout card anymore. Kind of feels bad. Okay. Don't know if we win this one. It's not looking good. So the cool thing is we can shock the Luminarch Aspirant, which is a phenomenal shock target. However, not exactly what I was looking for. Go ahead and dump the Royal Eruption. Okay. Double Mountain. Just what the doctor ordered. Luminarch's Aspirant was a sizable threat that I need to make sure that we got rid of. Getting plus one plus counter return is very relevant, but when you're just top decking like an absolute champion, I don't know if it really matters. Guess we go ahead and trade this away real quick. Brazen Borrower is a good draw. Not attack in. However, Magnetic Chandler doesn't block any of this. Yeah, we're just facing where we didn't get what we needed. I do think that we have a good shot at winning this on game 3, to be perfectly honest. I need to block. Suppose I block this. I need to send one back and still just die. Alright, game 3. I will play first, please. I got a turn 3 Stormwing entity and a Storm's Wrath. Don't think this is a good enough hand. This is way too land loaded. Storm's Wrath, though, is a great card. We'll go ahead and mulligan that away. I do have an Ember Shieldbreaker on this. This is not a good keep. But also, if I draw a land, this is a fun. Okay, we're gonna keep it loose. This is a loose keep, but we're gonna keep it. I have so many answers. I can potentially just draw into what I need, but we have so many answers in hand that all work on 1 mana that I had to. Now, let's see what our opponent does. They are taking a mulligan like we did. I'll take an island or a mountain off the top. As long as the land, we're solid. Alright. Not good. The reason why we kept it, so we can kill these things. fine. Answering the threats 1 for 1. It's also sorcery. Okay, it's fine. Go ahead and remove that before the Swarm Shambler comes down, so it only comes down with 1. I'll let them spend a little bit more resources on their Swarm Shambler before I go ahead and remove it with Thunder's Rebuke. This also can hit better targets. Like that. Yeah, this is a decent target. Alright, cool. We get in for 1. We can Thunder's Rebuke this, or that, actually. Do they play a land for this turn?
I am the voice of Zendikar.
We can go ahead and just... Yeah, we can still get rid of Nissa, though. We're just going to take a heck of a lot of punishment right now. Heck of a lot of punishment. 3, 6, 8. Yeah, we're going to take 8. So 12. Go ahead and get rid of Nissa, because we don't win this game if we have to battle Nissa. Let's keep it real. I really need to keep these, because Stone Cold Serpent just literally destroys this game. So we'll go ahead and... Is this leave, or is it when it dies? Okay. Let's go ahead and reset this. They get an insect, we save ourselves 3 points of damage, they have to play it again. I think we're in a good spot with that. We'll swing in for 3. Storm's Wrath still looking mighty juicy, though. You can hit everything on the board. If I swing... I think just swing in for 3. To be perfectly honest. I think I'm fine with that. Ooh, they're only growing 1 of them. All right. Okay. Alright, end of turn, right? So we can get a soft little reset going on here. On... Well, Swarm Shambler here. And whenever another creature dies, yeah, that's what another creature dies. It's fine, they do get a lot of insects, but... Go ahead and destroy this one, though. Like I said, they're getting a lot of insects, but my creature is going to go over top of them, and that's all that I care about. I'll go ahead and play Bone Crusher here. And then next turn we'll play Brazen Borrower at the end of their next turn. I think our flyer's gonna get us there, to be honest. This is 5, 6, 8, potentially. No, it's still a 2-turn clock, no matter how I dice it up. So we'll do that. We'll keep the shock up just in case. I can play Brazen Borrower and shock if I need to, but I'm not in threat of dying. Ember Shield Breaker is also here to destroy a Stonecoil Serpent if they end up playing one. Alright, so that's 5. I don't know about that. And then I just win in the air if they don't do anything. Alright, so this is the respect block. Just purely make sure they didn't pump it and kill me. That's a total feels bad if they pump and kill me. But we should, yeah, there we go. All right, cool, we're on the board. And that's the strength of this deck, is that we just fly over top of them, feel good. The counter deck's brutal though. That'll be a deck I need to look into. Ooh, we get the choice this time. All right, we're gonna go ahead and play first. Always want to be on the play. Looks like a good hand. 3 lands is really decent. We do get to lead off with the mountain, and then potentially shock if we're playing its mono red. We can go ahead and, if we assess that the threat is real, we can go ahead and do that. We also have another removal spell, turn 2, Sprite Dragon, backed up with a Brazen Borrower. Feels real good. Hoping for a really good game. Lead off the mountain. End turn. They let off with a mountain. Okay, change plans. We will play a Magnetic Chandler. This does not get shocked. This does. This also blocks things like a champ. Okay. I guess, yeah, it's now time for me to play this, and they can decide whether they want to shock it or not. They have to have some kind of response, right? Or not, maybe? Maybe we get in for 2? 2? Okay, they had Bone Crusher. Unfortunate. We are going to be getting rid of that Bone Crusher with a Royal Eruption. Oh, we're playing against Adventurers. Okay. Beanstalker Giant is a key giveaway that we're playing against Adventurers. I'm going to go ahead and activate this ability, get rid of this island, because I no longer need islands. I will take a Sprite Dragon here, sure. That's not what I was expecting to get off that, but I will take it. Go ahead and play our next island. Allows us to Brazen Borrow potential turn 4 Omnath. There it is, Omnath. Maybe if we get Thunder's Rebuke would be a good little dealio. We'll see what we get. Suppose... is this the first one whenever land enters the battlefield game for life? Right. Yeah, we are... Ooh, we are not in the driver's seat of this matchup, I'll tell you what. Go ahead and crash through real quick. Go ahead and play this. Give it Mountain. Swing in for 4, and now we reset them back to the life that they gained. But we, like I said, we are on the back foot. Omnath is a bear to beat. Being on the play, though, does help us out quite a bit. The one issue here is that they're going to gain 4 by playing a land this turn, and this deck has a ton of land. I don't have an answer to this main board. Don't, so they can Brazen Borrow me into the dirt. Don't like that at all. Get rid of that. Storming Entity. Can I cast this turn? I can. Okay, yeah, we'll do this. It's fine. All right, we're gonna take a lot of. We're gonna cast a lot of removal on this. Actually, can't use any of that. There's a case for me keeping Storming Entity on the top, but I need spells to close this game out fast. Because if I get one more removal spell or cast spell, turns this into a 4/4. Unfortunately, they're going to gain a ton of mana. So Uro just got banned, and it has slowed this deck down to the point where it doesn't reliably get its third trigger to deal 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. But it still has a very explosive turn. There's Kenrith. Now they can gain infinite amount of life. They also can gain haste right now. Hit me for 9. This is a tough matchup. We'll go ahead and ditch it, because we need action. Okay, well, we didn't get it. Unfortunately, have to do nothing. We just sit here and hope that we can get them game 2 and 3. That's also why I like best 2 or 3 is that we do have a little bit more gameplay. Sometimes the best of ones you get arena'd pretty hard, or your opponent, you just have no reasonable answer main board for certain threats, and then your deck becomes a little more, you're pre-sideboarding. I don't like playing Magic that way. I'd rather, there's a sideboard for a reason. Ready. I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Like, as far as, like, this turn, I'm dead. But I'm just trying to see what their whole plan is. Gain haste. Swing and kill me. That was gonna go on. Put a +1/+1 counter on Kenrith. Save itself if it wants to. I was wondering if that... Also, I do notice that a lot of opponents, like, they're wasting their time right now. In a best 2 or 3, you do have to play time clock sometimes. Like, I'm not just going to concede, I'm just going to let them play it out. Now, none of my matches should ever go to turn time. But if they do, here we are. Alright. What are we gonna do here? What are we doing? So, Ember Shieldbreaker comes in 100%. Mystical Disputes come in 100%. Stormwrath really only hits Omnath. Red Cat Melee comes in. Should probably just pick in Stormwrath. Chances of them playing Scooty Boys is very high. Seagate Stormcaller comes out. Cutting that card a lot. Cutting that card a lot. Spikefield Hazards will come out. Six more cards, huh? Probably get rid of Crash Throughs, to be honest. We are playing a more interactive game now. actually cut a couple Sprite Dragons here. I think that looks good. Decent removal, good spread. Yeah, let's keep it. Do that. A little bit of a transformative. I don't think didn't bring in Bone Crushers, but did I? I did not. Sure, we'll keep this one. Got a turn 1 opt. Smooth out our draw a little bit. I actually didn't do that. Oh well. This time we will lead off with Sprite Dragon. Swing in for 1. I should have opted on that turn 1, but as one thing you'll notice, I'm Mr. Clicky McGee, so sometimes I just click, click, click. All right, perfect. Sideboard card coming in clutch right now. We're going to go ahead and opt first because I do want to hit a land this turn. Do want to hit a land. Didn't get it. That's fine. Go ahead and destroy target artifact. And then swing in for 3. Alright, so hopefully they don't have the double Lucky Clover turn. Or hand. Getting rid of 1 is key. But I don't know if we can get rid of 2. Okay. I will accept having to get rid of 2 that way. I can't play anything. I have to save Brazen Borrower to get rid of this Lucky Clover before they cast anything with it. That was unfortunate. I'll go ahead and return back to your hand, though. We did get a land. Solid. Swing in for 1 now. However, we are going into Omnath turn because they have their 4 mana they need for. There's Omnath. Now that's where I wish I had Mystical Dispute. Still have plenty of gameplay. Okay, they're going to get a very explosive turn. They get another blue, they can cast a Brazen Borrower. However, they're probably going to cast Lucky Clover. And then Bone Crush me into the dirt. Oh, okay. Wow. This is such a brutal game. Such a brutal game. Beat this. I don't think you do. Still have... Like, I need 1 more mana to get rid of Kenrith. I would need 1 more mountain to Storm's Wrath, Shock, and then we deal with 2 things. Wow, the turn that they get to go trigger play, that's such a brutal. That's so brutal. I have so much removal. Guess we just go ahead and ship it. I don't think I win this. Wow. Omnath is crazy. That's where Mystical Disputes would have been good. Man. I think one of the toughest things about this matchup is you need so many of your sideboard cards all at the right time, but then you have no interaction on your hand, on your side. Oh, that's a good deck. And they just run away with the game. Curious how the mirror goes with this matchup, though. Very curious. You get 2 cards out of sideboard. I'm assuming they play Ugin on their side. So the only thing I think we have going for us is nothing. All right, hit him with the GG. Let's get on out of here. Get on out of here. Oof, that deck is brutal. All right. Let's get a good rep in. Getting good reps in. That's also one of my favorite things is learning decks. Just getting solid reps in. So you just learn as a Magic player, and that's all this is. All you can ask about yourself. Ask from yourself is to learn. All right. Ooh. I love having the choice. I will play first. We love being on the play. This hand, however, is not the hand. We will go ahead and mulligan. Too many lands and not enough creature spells. This is okay. Probably go ahead and get rid of a Storming Entity here. But this hand requires us to draw a mountain. Good enough. I'll take it. I'll go ahead and lead off with a Magmatic Chandler. It was a pretty lucky top deck, but we'll take those. That's also why I really like those pathway lands. So phenomenal. Can't really do anything. We are at the mercy of them. I was hoping that they would have had a turn 2 play, maybe a mirror match, but we weren't, so here we go. I think we're playing into control. Usually control decks play Omen of the Sea. Or we're playing in that mono blue combo deck. A devotion combo. See some play. Send my Magmatic Chandler back to my hand. Alright. Let's go ahead and replay the same thing. Not a very exciting draw here, but I do believe they are playing the Devotion Blue. Or they just want to keep up their Devotion, and then they're going to play the Lotus that Devotion matters. Can't think of the top of my head. And then they play Thassa's Oracle and combo out and win. However, right now I am not getting the interaction I so desire. I want a land, please. Thank you. I do need this land rather bad. Rather badly. Sure. Okay, all the Omens of the Seas. They have seen the sea 3 times. We'll get rid of Baron. And then we play Storming Entity. Feel good about ourselves. Carry about our day. No more land. We have our 4 land that requires for our deck to operate at peak efficiency. I'm going to get rid of all the land. However, I feel like they're either super set up and are just waiting for the turn to just unload on me, or they're digging. Yeah, they're digging. Okay. Kind of comforting, I suppose. But they're going to go ahead and have 3 instances of scry 2, draw, scry 2, draw, scry 2, draw. Stern to missile is the play. We're gonna go ahead and swing in. I missed. Oh well, it's fine. What I should have done there was play shock, so that way I have more land than I don't want. So that way I could have gotten in for an extra 3 points of damage on the magnetic challenge for a total of 5. But this one might be the more explosive play. They spend their turn doing a Yorion Sky Nomad again and do this. I think we're gonna go ahead and win this one. They do have enough burn in here to go ahead and knock this off. 2 spells, turns this into 10. Turns that into, yeah, okay. I think we're gonna be okay. Turns this into... There we go. Xaxes. Okay, so their combo was a little too like that. I guess they just didn't have it. They had a lot of interaction though. That was kind of fun to watch, but you just kill them dead. Doesn't matter what they do. Embereth Shieldbreaker comes in. So do Missile Disputes. All excellent cards. I think okay, that's the cards we want. So 2 Ember Shieldbreakers kills the Lotus. The extra Brazen Bar helps us balance. Mystical Dispute, they're playing mono blue, so this is always going to cost 1. I think we go ahead and get rid of the Crash Throughs here. Spikefield Hazards. Yeah, I don't think they're playing anything with 1. Means I can bring in a Bone Crusher Giant. I trade in Royal Eruption for... Yeah, we're going ahead and trade in Royal Eruptions for 2 Bone Crushers. I'm thinking 4 Bone Crushers in the side might be a little bit too much, but we'll just go over that and see how it goes. All right, we're up a game. Where we want to be. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. I have only 1 land, but I do have a Mystical Dispute and an Opt. This is perfect. I assuming they're not gonna play anything turn 1. We're also on the draw, so I'll go ahead and set up a trigger, but I do have Mystical Dispute for anything that needs to be taken care of. Don't need this. I will take the mountain though. That is excellent. Perfect. Perfect. Turn 2, again, I don't think that there's anything I need to really worry about. If they play Baron, I think go ahead and bounce this, but I think we are set up pretty well. We also have our 3rd land. No need to play anything. We'll just go ahead and swing in for 1. I can play this. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do another setup turn. Now I have a really, really good board state and a Mystical Dispute. Oh, okay, they missed the land drop, which is unfortunate for them. Might actually just win this one. Oh, okay. You got a negate out of their hand. Perfect. No need to play anything else. They're on kind of a slow bleed here, but since they are stuck on land so much, we will just go ahead and counter this. There's no reason for them to be allowed to do anything. Yep. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and shock. Shock turns these into 8/8 or 2 4/4s, which allows us to swing in for 8. Yep. And that'll do it. And that is the strength of this deck. Alrighty, and there you have it. I think that was some solid reps of what the blue-red aggro deck does in standard right now. We had a ton of fun playing it. It has a lot of action, can get in there, steal some games away, but I need to do some tweaking around because with that Omnath matchup, showed me that Omnath is a force to be reckoned with. Omnath came down, and Kenrith came right after him. It was a brutal game, but I learned a lot, and I think we can make some tweaks to sure up our match against there, but we'll keep on finding out. Standard is in a tight spot. Uro just got banned. It didn't really slow down the Omnath deck, but you know, we'll keep hunting and finding that deck that really finds that barbarian itch of turning cards sideways, beating your opponent dead. But You know what? Next week, we're going to go into more of my domain. We're going to do a little bit of a draft, and we're going to thread the needle and hopefully get into the winner circle. And that'll be next week's video. If you want to stay in touch, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and make sure that you get to see what the Barbarian does every week. You know what? Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.